Welcome. I'm Diane Yellowlight, a certified psychic, intuitive medium, life coach. Today, we're going to discuss about why doesn't he or she change the way I think they should. First of all, it's every soul's decision to accept who they are or who they're not and to change what they want or don't want to change. If somebody is being unloving or uncaring or destructive to a soul, to you or another soul, it's your responsibility to put that in perspective. You can put out their requests because we are to teach each other how to treat each other. And we must be firm, not angry, not controlling, not manipulating, firm. Using the word preference a lot really does help us to be able to get a thought across to another person. We all have to evaluate what we can live with and what we cannot live with. Most of the time, if we come down to being balanced and co-creating with another person, we can accept or move forward, not take things personally, you know. And the thing is, when you're talking with somebody, say for example, they got a terrible, terrible habit and it really upsets you. The only one that you really do care about here in this scenario is that it upsets you. And you find out what upsets you. Is it something that's real? Is it something that you do? Is it a mirror of you? Is it something that has been done to you by others? Is it something that you just don't want to hear anymore? It doesn't really matter. But we need to speak to another person, and we need to speak to them in calmness. Like, I feel, I always start out with I feel. When this situation comes up that I feel and see that it is being self-destructive toward me and I'm not being appreciated, I would prefer that we work this out so that you can understand my appreciating value and I can understand yours. What can we do? One, you can not be so sensitive about something, because if we buy somebody else's truth and we get angry and upset over it, there's a truth in it somewhere and we don't like that. But when somebody gives you a label and you look at them like, that's not me, as long as we're in reality, because we do have a tendency to lie to ourselves and not tell ourselves the truth. But if you really sincerely know in your heart, if somebody says that, you don't give, maybe you don't give to the degree of that person or other people, but you do give. And this is the clarity that needs to be made. I may be giving 10% because that's all I'm capable of giving. But you must let the other person know, I am giving to you all I can give, all I have to give. My capacity to give is not as good and as high as it needs to be, but I'm working on that. Then the other person won't take it like you're never giving to me. Maybe that person needs 90% giving. That's kind of too much. So everybody has to learn and balance where they're at. Every time we have an encounter, there's a lesson in it for each and every one of us. There's a lesson that can be given that gives us more power and confidence. Sometimes it's accepting the greatness of who we are. How many times do people give you a compliment and you run over it like, well, yeah, okay, that's no big deal. Well, yeah, and Johnny Joe did this. I mean, do you stop and you say, and take it in? Because, we all want to be complimented. We all want to hear great things. And when somebody says to you, you know what, you're terrific at what you do with that. You really do know how to deal with people. Well, it's no big deal. It's easy. I've learned to master it. No, 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 no. First of all, it's like, thank you. Thank you for noticing. Thank you for recognizing it. Thank you for telling me about it. I really appreciate that. I have worked to get to that point. Then you can go into whatever you want to say about it. We need those acknowledgments so that we can have confidence and grow within ourselves. When we don't acknowledge another person, part of us is telling us that we don't know how to, and we let it run off instead of soak in. And then we also discredit the other person that's giving us the knowledge. And pretty soon they're not going to want to give us the compliments or whatever that's coming in that way. And then we're going to be hungry. Oh, I want somebody to appreciate me. I want somebody to do this. Well, when people give you compliments of appreciation, they've got to be soaked in. So it's like a savings account. Once you get your savings account full, you feel pretty good. Then you don't go around being raggedy about not being appreciated. And we all have different aspects of ourselves that we have to do. Take them one by one. Put them and list them on a piece of paper. What is the things that irritate you the most, that people do not give to you or see, that you're all about? Make sure that you're presenting yourself clearly so they can see it. And if they're not, making sure how you show them and give them acknowledgement that you are. And there's nothing wrong with saying, in this subject, I need a lot of praise right now. So if you can possibly give me a lot of kudos when you think about it, it'd be greatly appreciated. But then don't forget, you've got to give yourself more than what somebody else gives you. We're all looking for approval out there and somebody to say we're A-OK. We are A-OK for whatever we want to be. You're A-OK with whatever choices you make. The consequences on being A-OK depends upon your choices, if they're to the highest level or to the lowest level. If they're to the lowest level, it's going to cause pain, hurt, sorrow, sadness, disappointment, anger, frustration, mistrust, you name it. But if we do things to the highest good, then the soul gets fed, another person gets fed. And if you run into somebody that is not appreciative, maybe like you had been, you have compassion for them and you show them by example, and you give them points of view. You give them things to ponder upon. Everybody that gets into the role of telling, remember, when we tell people what is best for them, or we tell people how to do something, it's very natural for instinct to go, no, you're not going to tell me how to do it. But if we give suggestions, or have you thought of this? I'm sure you might have thought of this, I don't know, but have you thought of this? Or finding out, what have you thought to do? How would you like that to work out? Is it working out? Do you know why it's not working out? You're the one that can throw interesting questions to them so they can think on their own, come to their own conclusions. Because you're going to find out that if you're one of those people that shows and tells everybody how to do something, and you probably have great insight and information, they're going to come back to the first deal they were thinking about. And if it was doubtful, you're going to feel used and abused, and they're going to feel that you're trying to change them. So it's kind of our attitude and kind of how we approach things. And we can definitely all be much more sensitive and caring with that with people. It takes, application and trying it out and working with it so that you can do that. And the sooner you do that, you'll be doing it with yourself. And when you do it with yourself, then when other people's feathers get ruffled, you'll understand it because you've been there, but you won't become it. And too many times we become what somebody else thinks we're all about. Then we get angry about it because that's not who we authentically are. We lose in translation of who we are. And in some cases, people don't know who they are, but what they've been programmed or what they've been told. If that programming is correct, then go forward with it and making sure that the end results are what you desire. And if you desire to be mean-spirited and you think it's great, then that's your experience. That's your adventure. There will be consequences. When we do owie things, there's consequences of paying back. When we do happy things, there's consequences of appreciation back. Depends upon where you want to live and how you want to live your life in life. And one of the other things that we have to stop doing is very, very important is the blame game. You made me. You didn't do. You didn't this. You didn't that. Okay? It may be true, but anytime you point a finger at somebody, I don't care how balanced they are, they're not going to want to be connected to you. And we got to start out with, I feel. When you talk to me that way, I feel this way. can we do about it? What can I do about my deal? Because if we're balanced again and somebody talks to you rudely or abruptly, you see it as rudely, abruptly, but you don't take it personal. When we take it personal, that's when we know we have homework. And that person standing in front of us is our gift. Our gift to be able to see what happens to us and rearrange it. That's all we're doing, is rearranging our souls, rearranging our minds, rearranging ourselves. Just like sometimes we rearrange our house, our yard, we arrange our closets, we change our clothes. We're always doing something that's movement of change. So why wouldn't we do it in the inner aspects of our psychology of ourselves? Of course, that's the lesson on earth, to make the adventure out of it. If you started out with kind of a negative adventure, doesn't mean it has to end in a negative adventure. You find the positive out of it. And out of every negative, there's a positive. Out of every positive, there's a negative. Because we need the polarities in order to balance in life. And the key again is balance. On a scale from 0 to 100, if we can stay in the 50 range or the 30 range of our emotions, we've got a lot better chance of being able to work with people and ourselves than if we go sky high to the other end. And when we go out of control, then things come out that you don't want to hear, somebody else doesn't want to hear. And when we do those things, the mind of the other person and even the mind of ourselves, we can't erase that. It's there. So be conscious with how you're treating yourself and others. Go above and beyond the circumstances that's in your life and finding the rose instead of the thorns that you're connected to. We're going to have thorns on us because we have to have beauty and ugly, negative and positive, peace and turmoil, pain and glory. It's just all part of the process of humanness on earth. So while you're here, live it to the highest of your ability. Live authentically. But you choose, wear the label. If it's okay for you, it'll be okay for others. Some may not be in your arena because they don't deal with it, or they won't tolerate it, or they can't handle it, whatever it is. It's not rejection. It's that they're not of the same mold or the same vibration that you are. If you're angry all the time, people can accept you're angry, but not putting it upon them or expecting them to live in the environment of anger. Those people will want to go out of the environment of anger. And if two people are in an environment of anger that are both angry, you're both reflecting to each other how ugly the angry is, and maybe one or both will look at each other and say, this is ridiculous. Let's turn this into something else. We're given lemons in life, lots of them. Turn it into lemonade. Make it as sweet as you want it to be. It's up to you. I know each and every one of you can go above and beyond your circumstances. And I know that if you stay in the now and stay in the reality of you, don't see anything as flawed, just see it as what it is, needing improvement. Because in every flaw, there's a quality of greatness. In every greatness, there's a quality of a flaw. It's very simple when we take the emotional level down and look at reality on the reality scale. So until next time, I send each and every one of you love and light to go above and beyond your circumstances. I know that you can. And I ask that you do this today for the highest good of yourself and for those that love you and for those that come in contact with you. So until next time, we'll be talking soon. Bye-bye.